Hi and welcome to another edition of OnSide SA with Budge, myself and Stevie B, the international pundit, will run through what's happening everywhere. And we're going to get straight on to Stevie because it's coming home. Is Steve about, Budge?
Morning, Steve.
Morning, Budge. Morning, Paul. Look, is it coming home? I mean, 2 or 3 weeks ago, everyone was completely writing them off. And I think when we were a minute or two away from going out to Slovakia, I think there was no chance of it coming home. But here we are in the final with a good chance, obviously against a very good Spain team who've won every game. But they've just got to go for it now.
Yeah. I just want to just go back and remind you two steamers that when we said who's going to win it, I said it's coming home, England. Budgie said Portugal. Who did you say, Steve?
I think I was on France initially.
Yeah. Well done, you guys. Got your memories working, but I'm still in the hunt.
You got a chance. But Steve, I got the betting. There was some of the odds last night were crazy, but this is the average odds I've got. 14-10 Spain. I thought that's a big price. 19-10 the draw. 5-2 England. What do you think?
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Yeah.
90 minutes. Well, yeah, that's Spain obviously are favourites, but look. You could pick any one of those at 90 minutes, couldn't you? It could really go either way.
Yeah.
I think England just got to stop. England has got to stop giving the lead away, though. It's not good for your nerves, is it? Sort of 3 games in a row going behind. So, look, it's going to be a really tough game. I mean, Spain have been. It surprised me. I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to be quite as good. And I think the world had not heard of Lamine Yamal until this tournament, and he'd hardly played, and here he is on the threshold of greatness. They're talking about comparing him to Messi, and interesting that when Barcelona gave him his new contract quite recently, they put a billion euro release clause, which obviously is laughable, but he's going to be a star for many years.
Yeah. Sorry, Budge. I just touching on that player, Steve. He could end up being a billionaire.
Yeah. But look, I mean, if he does as well as the Messis and the Ronaldos,
endorsements.
Obviously Barcelona have not been the team they were, but maybe with somebody like that in their ranks going forward. Obviously Madrid have strengthened. There's no question with Endrick and Mbappe. They're going to be stronger than ever. So you've got these 2 giants of world football. With 2 of the standout young stars in the world now, with Lamal and Endrick. Look,
Pedri and Gavi as well, Steve. So Barca stacked with youngsters.
Is that Barca?
Barcelona, who have struggled in comparison to Madrid in the last few seasons. This is going to be you can't think there'd be anybody else in Spain are going to come close to these 2 for a little while now. But I mean, obviously Spain. They say, have they missed Pedri? I mean, Dani Olmo has come in and scored 3 goals and looking. Well, I sort of read that I think he's got something like a 40 million release euro 50, release clause in his lot. 50 is it? Which really, for a player of that sort of quality, but he's been overlooked a little bit. He's been around for a few years, but you just wonder, on the back of what he's done in this tournament, whether sort of one of the bigger teams in Europe are going to come in for him.
Steve, just a quick question. I'll get my facts right. Where's Mbappe going? Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Where's that youngster?
He's at Barca.
Barca. Okay, so as you say, those 2. So you've got Jude Bellingham, and I
think they've got too many stars at Real Madrid.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But with the 2 Brazilians, Steve, the reason I think I fancied England last night because the Dutch midfield is woeful, and as good as Spain are on the ball, defensively their midfield's woeful as well. My biggest hassle with England, I wouldn't play Harry Kane. I wouldn't start him because those 2 centre halves are poor at the back, De Normand and the other guy. And if Kane doesn't run in behind them, there's a problem. I would start the other boy.
Why don't you put a guy up there with him to go beyond?
Well, he won't do that. He's going to play 4-5-1. And if Spain dictate the play like they did against the French, the French have got a lot of elderly players in that middle of the park.
Yes.
Rabiot and then Kante and the other guy. England haven't. England have got young players. And can you imagine Saka? He'll be drooling playing against Cucurella.
Yes.
So that's why you need somebody.
Cucurella can't get in, into the Chelsea team.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that he'll go with time. I can't see him dropping Harry Kane unless. A lot of people are saying they think that Harry is carrying a little bit of a niggle.
That's what I think.
Not enough to really keep him out, but it'd be a brave decision for him to drop Harry Kane.
Yeah,
after his goal, interestingly enough, after he scored yesterday, he scored more goals than any other European in the knockout stages of a major tournament.
Major record
ever.
How many of the penalties?
But he scores
absolutely,
goals.
But you still got to take them. Yeah. So, I don't know. He might. I'm not sure he'd be brave enough to do that. That would be a huge call because whether he starts with them and then brings Watkins on. But the worry is, you don't want to be 1 or 2 down to Spain and then it's too late to bring somebody on at the end. So
Spain are there for the taking. The French had more chances and they should have done better. Mbappe, they missed chance after chance. They are woeful at the back.
It's
just they don't
home.
get exposed. But I was on my Juventus group and you could see it. Kane doesn't run in behind. They just pushed out. The moment that boy came on, one run in behind, danger.
How was the pass?
Pass superb. But the problem for me, I know Southgate, and I heard Steve McManaman say yesterday, rather be lucky than good. And England have been lucky, so let's hope it continues.
Every knockout match, they've gone beyond.
Yeah, and so Spain have done 2 of the 3 as well.
Have they? Okay.
And they went behind Georgia and France.
All right, so final call. I say it's coming home, Budge.
I hope so.
Coming home, Steve, it's coming home.
I'm on the Spanish.
Yeah, look, we've waited a long time since '66, so we came close. 3 years ago, we could have won it. They just, having taken the lead, they sort of sat back, and that was the worry last night as well. Where Ronald Koeman obviously had to change it at half time, which he did. And for 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes in the second half, we hardly had a kick. We were getting the ball and doing nothing with it. Yeah. And you look for a little while that the next team to score would be Holland.
I agree.
But we rode our luck a little bit, and once he made the substitutions, then we sort of got on the front foot again.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's move on with the show. Budge, MLS, right up your street.
Up the street, yeah. Been on form with the MLS, Steve, so we can't complain. Steve, there were cup games last night, which we know about the cup. Teams play their best team and they don't.
Yeah.
But first game up, Cincinnati, Charlotte. How do you see it?
Sunday.
Well, look, Cincinnati had a storming win against Inter Miami last week, although Miami obviously had a player sent off, but you can't see anything other than a home win there.
Yeah, better the weekend, Steve. 7-10, handicaps just under 2-1, absolute certainties. But I'm going for them to win and both teams to score just under 5-2. But I agree, absolute certainties. DC United, Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, look. Neither setting the world alike. DC United not having a good season. I'm not sure that. I think those odds might be a little bit short for DC United. I'm not convinced by them.
You know who's up front?
For DC? No idea.
OnSide Benteke. Can you believe it?
He's
there. Haven't won in 11.
DC is at District Columbia.
Yeah.
Washington. Should be back now.
Yeah, haven't won in 11. Hard to see them. I'm going goals because 2 desperate teams.
Yes.
But you can't take 8-10 DC United. Another game. I think the draw's a player here, Steve. Montreal against Atlanta, who got beat by a lesser team in the cup on Tuesday night. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think this will be a tight again. Both teams slightly below halfway. Montreal maybe slight favourites because they're at home, but not much to choose between them.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on there. New England against Orlando City?
Well, New England had that little purple patch recently where they won a few, but they've come unstuck again. Orlando sort of picked up a bit. I think this will be a close game. I'm not sure that New England necessarily should start as favourites, but at home probably just have the edge.
Yeah, I took 9-10 New England to score over 1.5 goals. They're one of the few teams that play on an artificial pitch in America. Yeah, there's been a lot of complaints about the Copa Americana.
So where were they? Up New York way?
New England's Boston. Orlando City going well, but away from home, not the best of records, but win and draw New England, but I'm siding with New England to score over 1.5 goals. 2 out of form teams, Steve, Toronto, Philadelphia. Can either win it?
Yeah. Well, look, Toronto are going to be favourites at home. Philadelphia having a really desperate season for them. I would have thought if there was to be a winner, I'd go with the home team.
Yeah, just hard to see both teams there. But anyway, on to the second page, Steve. Austin against Seattle. Should be a tight game.
Yeah, I think it will do. Again, Austin at home, certainly gives them an advantage. Seattle are having a mixed season, obviously picked up a little bit of late.
Yeah.
I could see them cancelling each other out.
Yeah, what's strange is you look at Austin's home game, they won 6 out of the last 8. But Seattle have only lost 1 in 9. That's why I think the draw's a major player. Chicago won the last 2 games, and my boy Shaqiri's back. But I don't see them beating New York City, Steve. Do you?
No. I mean, so Chicago won a couple, but they had a desperate run before that.
Yeah.
But I think New York are having a decent season. I would have thought of the two, for me, I'd have thought they might just have the edge.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. Dallas against LA Galaxy. Dallas got beat 2-1 by Sporting Kansas City this morning in the quarterfinal of the Cup. LA Galaxy, one of the favourites to win it, Steve. One of the few times I fancy the away clubs in America.
Yeah, you never do.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I fancy it. I mean, Galaxy having a decent season, I would have thought that they'd be too strong. And so I agree, if there was to be a winner, I'd go with Galaxy.
Yeah, 14-10 looks a fair price. Now, Houston 6-10. When you looked at the recent form, it's a bit dodgy, but at home, they're unbeaten in 5. Minnesota having a nightmare. They've only won 1 of the last 10. My boy's back, though, the guy that played for Norwich. He always scores. Pookie, Timo Pookie. So I think they'll score. Houston should still win, though, Steve.
I think so. Again, I mean, Minnesota had started off the season well, but they've really fallen away. And I think if you look at sort of more recent form, I think Houston probably deserved to be short favourites.
Yeah. 5-2, Houston to win and both teams to score. Always seems to be goals with Minnesota. Last team on the page, Steve, St. Louis against Vancouver.
Well, for me, you look at the form, and I would fancy Vancouver of the two. They don't travel as well, but St. Louis having a poor season. Yeah,
I've got to agree there. I just think 26-10 looks the right way. I think they'll cancel each other out. On to our final page of the Americas.
A lot of games.
And we've got Colorado against the New York Red Bulls, Steve. How do you see it?
It should be a decent game. Colorado having a good season, but so the Red Bulls do. Again, you see them cancelling each other out. I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah. I think there'll be goals in this. Yeah, Colorado don't get beat at home. They've won their last 4. I was on the New York Red Bulls 2 weeks ago when they drew at home. Cost me a couple of bets. The draw in Colorado for me, if you are going to chance a team, it'll be Colorado. But should be a tight game. Phil Neville's Portland going great at home, but Real Salt Lake, one of the form teams, Steve. Can Portland continue their fine record?
Well, again, as you say, they've done well at home this season, but Real Salt Lake have probably been the real surprise in the Western Conference, having a great season. I think this would be this would be a really close game. You could call it either way, because on form, Real Salt Lake are the team for me, but home Portland are quite strong. So you could again, they could cancel each other out, but I think there'll be goals for sure.
No doubt about that. Los Angeles, Steve, at home. Hard to beat, but Columbus are the team that got to the final of that Copa America, the North American final. This should be a closer game than the betting suggests.
I think so. Columbus actually having a great run at the moment. They're doing really well, but then LA FC are strong, and I think they should start as favourites.
Yeah, I just think there'll be goals in that particular game. But last but not least, Steve, San Jose against Sporting Kansas City. 2 struggling teams.
Two struggling teams. San Jose, although they picked up a win last week after a sort of a run of big defeats, I'm not sure, though, necessarily that they should start as favourites.
Yeah, Steve, I've got to disagree with you. I think they're good things. Sporting Kansas City won in the Cup this morning. Away from home, they've lost 8 in a row. So the price, I'm all over San Jose. On to the other league that we are covering, that's on to Sweden. And big game at the top, Mjolby against Malmo. What do you think, Steve?
Malmo, top of the league.
Yeah, I mean, Malmo are doing what they do most seasons. They're sort of they're running away with the league at the moment.
Yeah.
But Mjolby are having a good season. But for me, Malmo have got to be favourites. I mean, they are head and shoulders above everybody else in the league just at the moment.
But just having a look at Malmo, they're top of the log.
Yeah.
They're 6-10 to win here. They've only won one of their last 5.
Yeah, that's away from home.
Away
The only thing
games,
is,
away games.
Jalby played an artificial pitch, Malmo grass pitch, so that could be. But I went 9-10, both teams to score. There should be goals in that. Serious against Gays Gothenburg, Steve? How do you see it?
Serious?
Yeah, I mean, neither having a brilliant season. I mean, Gays are having a sort of better season than Sirius, so I'm not sure about the betting, but I think this will be quite a close game.
Yeah, I think goals is the way to go, that particular game. Always seems to be goals in Sweden, so 9-10 over 2.5 goals is my suggestion. The banker of the week in Sweden is Djurgården, Steve. 4-10 a bit short?
Yeah, it probably is, but you know they're having a decent season.
Yeah.
Obviously, second only to Malmo. Then I think that they should certainly win that by at least a couple.
Yeah, if you're aggressive, take the -1 handicap at even money, but Djurgården all day. BK Hacken, Steve, I think they're good things. Reason being, Augsburg got the Europa League on Thursday.
They lost 6.
Away from home, they won at home, they beat Bromma-Podgorny. Away from home, they're struggling. Hacken at home, not a bad form team over the years.
11-10, Steve.
11-10, Steve. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think they should be favourites. I think it'll be close, but I think that they'll win that. Hacken.
Yeah, I just think all these teams, you notice, they're all playing your Champions League, Europa League, Conference and so on. They tend to put all their ammunition into those baskets to try and have a good run. Obviously, the financial side of it, but I'm over BK Hacken. On to our second page, and we've got Kalmar against the biggest club in the world, Steve, Bromma-Podgorny. How do you see it?
Well, I think it'll be a close game. Kalmar are having a disappointing season, as are Bromma-Podgorny. But you can see, actually, if you look where they are in the league, I mean, there's hardly anything to choose between them. Yeah. You know, I think you could go a draw here. They might cancel each other out.
Yeah, I like Kalmar, Steve. I've had a look at the game. They've been competitive in the games against better teams. Bromma-Podgorny won one of the last 9, and I can't have them. I'm all over Kalmar. Vostera 7-10 against Norrköping. Norrköping in recent times have been a decent team. I don't know what's happened, but 33-10 against another struggling team seems a big price, Steve.
It does. I mean, Vasteras is at the bottom of the table.
Yeah.
They've picked up a few points recently, and Norrköping have had a few really big defeats, including one to Malmo recently. But you know, those odds seem a bit short for Vasteras, considering they are about 3 points adrift at the bottom. So you know, for me, I wouldn't have money on Vasteras.
Yeah, tough game. 29-10 is my suggestion in that game. Hammarby versus IFK Gothenburg have just replaced their manager, Steve. Hammarby too good?
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. Hammarby are having a decent season. They're having a good run at the moment. They've won 3 of their last 4. I would think, you know, obviously with a new manager, you can get that new manager bounce. But for me, Hammarby looks a good price.
And last but not least, Steve, Halmstad versus a disappointing AIK Stockholm side.
Yeah, AIK really disappointing this season. I mean that you know they've sort of starting to fall away, and they've won 1 and lost 3 of their last 4. I can see, and hard to sort of bet against the home team.
Only problem is with AIK Stockholm, they have lost their last 4, but those against were top 6 sides. So maybe that's the reason why they're 9-10. They've always been decent, but this year they're struggling. But if I'm going that game, I'm going the goals. I think it was 8-10 over 2.5 goals. Steve, another difficult week. I need your best bet and value bet, please.
I'm going to go into the Swedish league. I'm going to go for Hammarby as my best bet.
Okay.
I just think that they should be too strong. And in the MLS, I might go for Vancouver. I just think that you know, they showed a little bit of form, and against the St. Louis side, who are struggling, I fancy them.
Okay, there's nothing to do with your family members in Vancouver. Seeing you. Yeah, I know. Steve, I'm all over San Jose. I just think it's put up, shut up. You know, there's no relegation in the MLS. So the team they're playing, Sporting Kansas City, they'll be concentrating on the cup, so I think. And I'm going for Kalmar. I just think 17-10 against Bromma-Podgorny are struggling. I think that's worth an interest. But, you know, not the easiest, you know, especially in the American League, which the game started 1:30 Sunday morning our time. So ESPN haven't got them on, otherwise I would tape them and watch them. So I've got to watch the highlights on ESPN, and it's not the easiest. Steve, thanks again, and go easy this weekend, you know. Don't get
I'm sure we'll swap a few messages on Sunday for sure.
And let's hope it doesn't go to penalties. Well, there again, the way England are playing, maybe they do want it to go to penalties.
Well, I was at Wembley in '96 when England beat Spain. It was the first time England had won a penalty shootout, and they beat Spain. So
was that Saka
you never
when
know.
he went?
But, yeah, that's when he scored. That was and we didn't play well that day, but we went through, and that's all that counted.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let's hope it is coming home.
It's coming home. We'll speak to you soon, Steve.
Yeah, cheers.
All the best,
bye.
Steve.
All the best, Stevie.
Speak to you soon.
All right, Budge, good to talk to Stevie.
Yeah,
and
always
I hope
great,
he is English. Let's hope it wins for him, especially.
Geez. I remember the last time you couldn't talk after they lost on penalties. Neither could I, but obviously being in the UK. I don't know if you saw the photos last night, the video clips when they scored that last-minute goal. They went absolutely mental in all these shopping centres.
Yeah,
the beer was going everywhere.
The new jawl is throw your beer in there and keep the container.
Must be sponsored or something, the way they're throwing the beers up. But, anyway, we'll go on to our soccer exotics.
Give me your bets, Budge.
Yeah, unfortunately the final's on Sunday, so it's not in any of our Saturday bets. But start with the soccer six. I'm going Malmo to avoid defeat at Mjolby. I'm siding with Mulder as well. Win and draw at Fredrikstad. And then 3 home win and draws. I'm going Lillestrøm against Strom Godzet, Oddball Club against Hamar Kamerateen, and RK Sirius win and draw against Gaze Gothenburg. And I'm chancing Viking FK to beat Christiansen at home 2-1-6. On to our second soccer six. I'm going Bahia, win and draw against QE Arbor, and Cruzeiro, win and draw against RB Bragantino. I'm going the field in the Juventude versus International Cup game. I'm banking Colorado Rapids to beat New York Red Bulls. The field in the Portland Real Salt Lake fixture, and banking Los Angeles to beat Columbus Crew 2-1-6. On to our soccer 10 for Saturday. I'm banking Bahia to beat QE Arbor. Cruzeiro win and draw at home against RB Bragantino. The field in the Juventude versus International game. Montreal Impact to avoid defeat at home against Atlanta United, as long as New England Revolution win and draw at home against Orlando City. On to the second page, I'm going Austin FC win and draw at home against Seattle Sounders. 2 bankers. The Houston Dynamo to beat Minnesota United, and Colorado Rapids to beat New York Red Bulls. The field in the Portland Timbers versus Real Salt Lake match, and it should be a good game, Paul. And Los Angeles to be too good for the Columbus Crew 288. On to the soccer 13, I'm going RK Sirius win and draw against Gaze Gothenburg. Brann to be too good at home against Haugesund. Going for Mulder to avoid defeat at Fredrikstad. Lillestrøm win and draw at home against Strom Godzet, and Odds Ball Club win and draw at home against Hamar Kamerateen. Boda Glint, I'm charging them to win at Sandyford, and I don't see Tromsø losing at home to KFUM. On to the second page, 3 bankers. Viking FK to be too good for Christiansen, Bahia to be too good for QE Arbor, as well as Cruzeiro to be too strong at home for RB Bragantino. I don't see Austin FC losing at home against Seattle Sounders, and going for Houston to be too good for Minnesota United. And last but not least, Montreal Impact win and draw against Atlanta United 256.
Budge's best bets, my favourite page.
Yeah, here we go, Paul. I'm going Cincinnati to beat Charlotte and Houston to beat Minnesota, and both teams to score in each game. So that's all 4 teams to score. And I'm chancing San Jose to beat Sporting Kansas City 3,800 to 200. MLS team goal sides, I'm going Cincinnati, New England, Houston, Los Angeles, and San Jose, all to score over 1.5 goals or a minimum of 2.
Budge, one question: are they all home teams?
Yes. No, Los Angeles. Yes, they are. Los Angeles.
Yeah. You got to lean
all
towards
home
them.
team,
Okay.
All home teams, 2,600 to 200. On to our MLS total over 2.5 goals bet. I'm going DC United, Nashville, Austin, Seattle, Chicago, New York City, Houston, Minnesota, and Colorado, New York Red Bulls, 2,400 to 200. On to Sweden, I'm going Djurgården to beat IFK Värnamo and both teams to score. I'm going BK Häcken to beat Elfsborg and both teams to score in the Mjölby Malmö and Sirius Gaze Gothenburg games, 3,200 to 200. The leagues are limited, so I'm chancing a Norwegian treble. I'm going Molde to win at Fredrikstad. I'm going Brand to beat Haugesund and both teams to score. And Tromsø to win and over 2.5 total goals, 2,800 to 200. And my Collis King 6 or Nixa, I'm going Djurgårdens to beat IFK Värnamo, Brand to beat Haugesund, Cincinnati to beat Charlotte, San Jose to beat Sporting Kansas City, Cruzeiro to beat RB Bragantino, and Bahia to beat QBRBA in the Brazilian Serie A, 3,400 to 200.
Excellent, Budge. Excellent. That's very, very good. So it's interesting, Budge. Just a quick few questions for you. We've got the final on Sunday. We've got these two now. The question is, it's getting closer to the British League starting. When is the Community Shield?
10th of next month.
When does the championship start? Same day?
Weekend.
Same
Friday,
weekend.
There's 2 games. Preston opened the batting against Sheffield United at home on the Friday. I think it's Friday the 9th.
Okay, so
you've got a couple of more weeks, like 3 more weeks, Paul.
Yeah, and then we roll in again. That's it?
That's it, Paul.
It's coming home. Until next time, stay on side.